Why are you choosing to list it at the moment? Because Ethos, which is your owner at the moment, has only been in for 5 years. Does it just want to exit at this stage, or is there another reason for the listing?
No, Stephen. I think Ethos Private Equity, who, as you mentioned, is our single biggest shareholder, their intention was always an investment period of between 5 and 7 years. We've had a fantastic relationship with them. We always knew their involvement was going to be finite, and they're of the opinion that now's the right time, and they're of the opinion that a listing is the best mechanism to facilitate their exit.
Why is now the best time? Because we do see markets under pressure, though we do see lots of appetite, or we have seen lots of appetite for retail shares on the JSE. Do you want to maybe take advantage of that?
I wouldn't say it's a question of wanting to take advantage of it. It's more, as I said, an initiative that has been driven by the timing, the needs of our biggest shareholder, and they're of the opinion that the circumstances that exist right now are appropriate, and as such, now's as good a time as any.
What sort of stake will be made available to institutional investors, and what sort of stake will management continue to hold in the listed company?
We have, our current situation is Ethos have approximately 2/3 of our business. The management consortium have the balance. Ethos are seeking to realise the majority of their investment, and management are going to be retaining the majority of their stake. So really for us it's business as usual. We believers in the long-term prospects of the business, and all of us are still relatively young and passionate about the business. So for us it's really just a change of ownership and business as usual.
And you said Ethos will remain invested to a much lesser extent though.
I think it remains to be seen. I think there are a few things that still need to run their course, and that will determine the extent of their sell down. But I think they are at this point seeking to realise the majority of their investment that they have in Holdsport.
Growth plans once you have listed on the JSE, because you have 33 sportsman warehouses, 18 outdoor warehouses. Are you planning to grow those numbers?
Yes, we are. And in fact, we opened a brand new sportsman's warehouse store last week in Pietermaritzburg. We opened a new outdoor warehouse store in Vanderbijl Park a month ago. So we've opened 2 already in this current financial year. We're of the opinion that 2 to 3 stores for the next 3 to 5 years are what we're capable of opening. I think we're also very fortunate that we operate in a market that's quite an exciting market, and has been growing for quite some time. South Africans, as you know, are crazy about sport. They love the outdoors, and we have a climate that's very conducive to participation in these kind of activities. So we're fortunate in that we believe our market has shown growth and will continue to do so into the future.
How about outside of South Africa? Because you have one store in Namibia. Would you look at other countries outside of South Africa?
I think yes and no. We're desperate to open another outdoor warehouse in Namibia. We don't have a store there. As far as our neighbouring countries are concerned, we think that there will be opportunities in the future, but I think in the short term we probably think that there are other retail formats that need to establish themselves there first before we will have an opportunity to open up in our neighbouring countries.
Well, your most recent turnover was 1.1 billion rand. You talk about strong cash flows. What sort of growth are you seeing in turnover at this stage? Because obviously those numbers not published for everybody to see.
Sure. I think most of the detailed information will be contained in our pre-listing circular, which will be published in due course. As you said, 1.1 billion rands worth of turnover. We've been fortunate to be able to grow in the region of, we've been able to double the size of our business roughly every 4 to 5 years. And I think if one looks back over an 8-year period, we've been able to grow our turnover by approximately 16 to 17% compounded annual growth rate. So, I think we've also been lucky. We've never had a year where we've made less profit than the previous year. So we've been fortunate that we've had a pretty good run up until this point.
And changes that were made particularly under the stewardship of Ethos, because obviously private equity companies come on, try to make companies more profitable, more competitive. What sort of changes have taken place under Ethos?
Well, we've had a wonderful relationship with them. I think Ethos have been very good at respecting the fact that we have a management team in this business that have been around for a long time. They also have a significant stake in the business, and really they've been excellent partners. The private equity model is one that we're not unfamiliar with. We were involved in a private equity deal with Nedbank Investcorp prior to that, so we're quite familiar with the structure, and in particular the responsibility of running a company with a heavily geared balance sheet. So for us it was a very natural progression and a relationship that we've really enjoyed.
Investment case for investors, because you're going to be up against groups like Foschini on the JSE.
Yeah.
They own, I think, Due South and also Total Sports. Yes. So bits of a competitor to you on the JSE.
Well, I think it's a very active market. If most of our public retail businesses have some kind of level of participation in the sporting goods market, the Foschini Group is one of them. So everybody's there. It's a well-established market. It's a vibrant market. There's a strong competition from independent players. But what we've tried to do is differentiate our business through offering a predominantly equipment-based merchandise offering, but our stores are large, and as such we are able to add new product, we're able to add new product categories, and that's really been our point of differentiation to our competitors.